Hello, sisters, and welcome to the Body Ally podcast. I'm going to share with you a really sneaky thought that you think is actually helping you in your health goals, but is actually the very thinking that I have seen over and over and over again be one of the most largest stumbling blocks from keeping women from actually reaching their health goals. It's sneaky, and I'm going to share it with you. But first, welcome to the Body Ally podcast, where we learn how to stop battling with our bodies and with food from a faith-based, brain science-backed approach. We learn instead how to be an ally with our bodies, partnering with our bodies and accepting them as the gift that God intended. Learning how to pursue health goals, not in an effort to prove your value, but as an act of love. I'm Kerrie Nygaard, your host. So before I really dig in, I'm going to give you an analogy. So where I live in Washington State, there's this type of weed, but it's this really cute weed. In fact, it grows out like a vine and it has these really cute little dainty flowers on top, and they're yellow flowers, and yellow is my favorite color. And when I first saw them, I thought, those are so sweet. Those are so cute. And I would think I would just want a whole field covered in them. But what I didn't realize is that on the other side, on the underside of these vines, and they had these cute little like prawn kind of fern type little leaves that came out with these cute little yellow flowers on them. So sweet, right? But on the other side, if you were to turn them over, underneath are these really spiky thorns that are known here as goat head. I think they look like devil heads, but they're called goat heads because they have these sharp horns and they get stuck in tires and shoes. They pop all my kids' bike tires. I have to get special bike tires for my kids. And they get stuck in your shoes and they get brought in the house. And then so often in our house, you end up stepping on them in your bare feet and you have to pull them out. They go in like a needle and you have to pull them out. They are really sharp and they dry really hard. And when you try to pull the goatweed plant out of the ground, it drops all these thorns all over the place. They wreak havoc. Similarly, there's another type of really cute weed that grows where I live. It's called morning glory. And it's a vine plant. And it actually has this really like tender, really cute little like pastel flowers. Some of kind of like a yellow, they're like a white or a pink, sometimes a lavender color. And they're really cute and they just blanket the ground. But that's not the only thing they do. When they're in my garden, you know what they do? Is they're so prolific and they seem unassuming, like they're not going to hurt a darn thing, but I have seen them wrap up and around and choke out things like tomatoes, like cucumber. They will choke out plants that actually produce good fruits and vegetables. They will choke those plants out. So what you thought was unassuming, what you thought was actually cute and not a problem at all, is the very thing that silently chokes out a whole plant that produces the fruit that you desire. Similarly, in our mind, we can have thinking that we think are virtuous, lovely, and of good report, right? Like what Paul says in the Bible. In the New Testament, he says, if there's anything virtuous, lovely, or of good report, we seek after these things, right? These are the things that we should seek after. We should let virtue garnish our thoughts, and we should let anything that's, lovely or good report or praiseworthy, that's what we should think on. And we might think that there's this thought, and I'm going to reveal it to you in a minute. There's this thought, and there's lots of thoughts that trip people up, but this one, I think, ranks up there. I think as the number one thing that keeps women stuck in diet mentality and keeps them from being in a place of partnership with their body. Are you ready for it? Here it is. It's thinking in terms of I've fallen off track, or I need to get back on track, or I've fallen off the bandwagon. I got to get back on the bandwagon. Now, why is this the most detrimental thought? It's because this thought holds up a whole framework of diet mentality, thinking that you're either on or off. You're either doing what you should and you're either being good or you're not. You're bad. It's dichotomous. It's either on or off. It allows for no gray area. And it thinks in terms of your relationship as on or off. Now remember, your body is a gift from God that allows you to have a vessel that allows you to be here on this earth, moving throughout time here among the living. And when you think in terms of being on or off with anything in regards to your body, it is the breeding ground of a toxic relationship. If you think in terms of a toxic relationship, like a true toxic relationship that's maybe just emotionally abusive, at least to begin with. And I don't want to say just emotionally abusive because there's some emotional abuse that can be even worse than physical or other types of abuse. But I want you to think in terms of like a true markers of an abusive, like romantic relationship. That person might love bomb them. What's love bombing them? It's giving them gifts and telling them lots of things, of wonderful things about them, and doing lots of things for them and with them to make them, saying just the right things to make that person feel so special. And then the next day, they might be yelling at that person and swearing at them or stonewalling them and withholding any attention from them. So it's this hot, cold. It's this on or off type relationship. And when we interact with something that's sacred and a God-given gift like our body in terms of being on or off, it breeds the same kind of toxic energy within the relationship of ourselves, within our bodies, between us and our bodies. I'm either on or off. I got to get back on track. And it seems so innocent. Oh, it just means that I'm not doing what I want to be doing and I got to get back to it. And for some people, it might have that effect. But I have brought over 1,400 women through my proven program, and I've taught tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of women online at this point. And I will tell you that when a woman thinks, I'm off track, I got to get back on track, she's dealing with shame and guilt, food shame and guilt. She's dealing with thinking that she's not enough. She's dealing with, right, all these toxic type things. These are downward spiraling type emotions. When you think in terms of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm off track, I've done badly, then it thinks in terms of this toxic relationship, this on or off. In order to be in a true partnership with your body, moving towards health goals, not in an effort to prove value, but in an effort to as an act of love for yourself and for your body, that we seek out health goals as acts of love. I love my body, therefore I exercise her, because movement is medicine for my body. And when I do the things that help her feel well, I get to feel better. Even if I have to overcome a little bit of mental drama to get myself to do the thing. All right, so let me give you an example. It used to be for myself back in my dieting days when I thought I was either on or off a program. I was either with it or I was not with it. Right? If I got to get back on track, this is how it would show up. I either had a weekend or a week or a vacation where I would have buckled down and geared up afterwards. So I just got back actually recently from a spring break trip with my family where we went on a cruise. We had planned this for over a year in advance, and we used our mileage points, and we all went on this cruise, right? Except for my oldest that doesn't live with us anymore. She was not able to come because she's doing adult things now. Anyhow, we went on this cruise. And did I go, if I was thinking in terms of on or off, I might just be like, I'm going to eat all the things on this cruise because when I go home, it won't be available. So I'm going to go off track. And when I think in terms of off track, then there's this scarcity mentality. And I'm overeating. I'm even eating things that I don't really enjoy because I think at some point they won't be available to me. And then if I was still in diet mentality on the trip, on the way home, flying home, I would have been coming up with all sorts of different meal plans or calorie restriction. You know, I can only go eat this amount of calories or whatever. I would have been restricting. That's what I used to do. What do I now do? I know that I am housed within my body and my body is always with me. There's no need to think in terms of on track or off track. There's no bandwagon to fall out of. That doesn't exist. That's a made-up idea. There's just you and your body. And without her, you wouldn't be here being able to experience anything. She's keeping you alive. Even if you have a health diagnosis, regardless, every cell in your body is the full focus in on keeping you alive. Even if there's things in the environment in this world that make it hard for your body to do that, your body will sacrifice everything to keep you alive. Everything that's within your body's power, it will do to keep you here. Your body's full function is to keep you here among the living until your Creator calls you home, no matter when that might be. And I have a belief that no one lives beyond their accounted amount of times here on this earth, even if it's sooner than we would want it to be. Now, I did not did I eat a few desserts that I normally wouldn't have eaten on this cruise? Yeah, I did. Did I try some different foods? Did I even overeat once or twice? Yeah, I did. Was it the end of the world? Did I think, well, I'm off track, I might as well stay off track till I get home? No, why would I do that? Because on vacation, I want to enjoy it and feel well, and my body's always with me. I didn't leave my body at home when I went on this trip. She's with me. So instead of thinking that you're on track or off track, I invite you to think instead in terms of, oh, I'm a little disconnected. I just need to get reconnected, and to do it quickly. In any other relationship, for example, with a spouse or with a friend or with a child, if something happened or if we felt a little distanced from them or if there were some interactions that didn't go the way that we desired them to go, we'd think, oh, I need to reconnect with them. Like say with a child, if I didn't feel connected with them or we weren't quite, our paths just seemed to kind of be crossing, or if there was some friction there, I would go to them at a good time. Usually in the evening when it's quieter, I find it's a really good time. And I would reconnect with them from a place of love and compassion and curiosity. I invite you to do the same thing. If you find yourself having an out of control food behavior, I mean, normal eaters even have meals where they're like, oh, I overate there. And what do? Do they think I'm off track? No, normal eaters don't think in terms of diet mentality of being on or off. They just think, oh, that didn't feel very good. Maybe let's go on a walk and help the digestion here. And then the next meal they remember and they're like, oh, I'm not going to overeat that thing again because that didn't feel very good. And that's the end of it. There's no bandwagon they've fallen off of. There's no track that they've fallen off of. They simply get reconnected with how they want to feel. And so here on the Body Ally podcast, I'm inviting you to stop saying or thinking in terms of being on or off track or on or off a bandwagon. There's no tracks. Look around. Right now, wherever you are, look around. There's no tracks. There's no wagon. There's just you and your God-given gift, your body. If at any moment you find yourself engaged in something that you didn't want to, maybe you find yourself emotional eating or you overate a dessert, no problem. Just get reconnected with her as soon as possible. The way I usually do this is I put my hand over my heart and I take a few deep breaths. And why do I do this? Because it calms any survival responses. It takes me into the parasympathetic side of my nervous system where I'm able to think with my conscious, clear thinking, higher cognitive executive functioning brain. Okay. And I get reconnected by just taking a few deep breaths and I just assess the situation. So on the trip, there was 1 or 2 meals where I'm like, ooh, I overate that. I remember one meal, my husband was like, try this, try that, try this. And I was like, okay. And then pretty soon I was like, oh, I don't feel good. And I just got disconnected from my body there for a little bit. That happens to everyone, even normal eaters, even people that have never dieted from time to time have that experience. What do they do? And that is what I invite you to do. There's no on or off switch. There's no tracks. Just get reconnected with your body just like you would with anyone else. Reconnect, even just say, oh, I'm sorry, I overate there. Didn't mean to do that. Oops. Let's maybe go have some movement, not to work it off, not to make this wrong right, because there's nothing wrong. It's normal sometimes for that to happen. The less intense we are about it is usually when we gain our ability to have that happen less often. Anytime we make a big deal of things, our survival responses go off in our brain, and the thing we intend to do with our health becomes that much more laborious and difficult and heavy to do. But when you just come to a place of ease and partnership with your body, it settles down those survival responses. It allows you to lead with your calm, clear, conscious thinking, executive thinking brain. And then it's just a matter of doing the thing. Even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, it's just a matter of doing the thing. And we drop the part where we spin out in shame and make big plans to be right again or to get back on track or climb back on the wagon that doesn't exist. So again, I invite you that part of joining the Body Ally movement is also not thinking in terms of on or off, which means we got to get rid of this language and terminology around it, which is on bandwagon or on or off track. You're not. You can become disconnected from yourself, and that reconnection can happen right in 1 second, taking a few deep breaths and recommitting to being in a partnership with yourself. And that's it. All right. So please, thank you for joining in this podcast. Look below for links to join me in my free content online or to join with me in my paid program called Freedom with Body and Food. Remember, women, specifically you, we're not sent here to think about food and losing weight all the time, but instead to thrive and create and live out God's plan for you. Thank you so much.